take you to the broadcast of It's Time with Reverend Nathaniel W. Martin. Here's Reverend Martin.
All right, thank you, Dr. Blackwell. Let me say Hotep Habaragani to my Africana Studies colleagues and contemporaries and seekers after the truth all. And let me say, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, but certainly never good night and never ever goodbye, because I personally have always found goodbyes traumatizing. I said I personally have always found goodbyes traumatizing. My name is the Reverend Nathaniel W. Martin. I'm the pastor of the New Life Institutional Baptist Church here in the city of Los Angeles. And the offering that you are viewing or listening to is entitled It's Time. And it is a social justice offering, presentation. And we have two very challenging subjects, time and then social justice. Your teachers in school would always tell you, dissuade you or try to impress upon you that you should never take too broad a subject in writing an essay. And of course, we want to give honor. We always try to qualify the social justice at the time by concentrating on the environment and concentrating on the economics, the two E's. The environment, of course, is much in the news today with the climate change and with the problems that people have been having with their drinking water in the last 5 years here in the United States of America. And of course, our ecology with the railroad collisions and derailments and all of that type of thing that has happened across the nation. And sometimes here the Amtrak service is disrupted because of the failure of the tracks and people that have paid money to go from here to San Diego have to get off of the train and get on the bus and hopefully reconnect with the train on the other side of the track breakage. So the environment is very much with us, and God knows we haven't taken care of the environment. We have been very wasteful and profligate in that regard. We took it for granted, and now it is coming back against us because this is a man-made crisis, the crisis in the environment with the plastics and all of the other, the depletion of the ozone layer as it exists right now. Those are man-made disasters, and even hunger is man-made. Of course, hunger has always been used as a weapon against the people, and it is no different today. If you can afford a Big Mac, then you can have a Big Mac, but if you can't afford it, then you can't get the Big Mac. So, hey, Big Mac has gone up from when I was first here. I was talking to someone yesterday that when I first came to town, you could get a cup of coffee for a dime. You don't get no coffee for a dime no more. And all of those things that made life worth living have just gradually been eroded, and the prices have gone up exponentially. I won't call the name of the coffee company, but you know that coffee costs a minimum of $2.98 or $3.98, and even then, if you don't like it, you're just stuck with that cup of coffee. I never acquired the taste for this new kind of coffee that they're selling. Like I said, it's an acquired taste, and some can deal with it and some can't. And I'm one of those that have to leave it because I don't like the taste. I said I don't like the taste. All right, but be that as it may, the country is going on, the prices are going up, and our money is going down If you are around my age, you're now on a fixed income. I'm 75, and so my income is fixed going forward. And I thank God for the years when I could work and make a lot of money and do a lot of things, invest in a lot of things, because can't do that no more. But we thank God that things are as well as they are, and we're hoping things are improving where you are. And one thing I didn't do, I got to say, I forgot to mention that I'm the pastor of New Life Institutional Baptist Church here in the city of Los Angeles, and we're worshiping with our sister church, the Shiloh Missionary Christian Church, which is pastored by my good friend, the Reverend Dr. Della F. Hollinas. And we'd like to invite you to any and all of our services. You can see I'm not working off of the script, or else we would have covered that about 3 minutes ago. But be that as it may, we are looking at the United Auto Workers as they get ready to go out on strike. And then we looking at the 60,000 healthcare workers that are likewise getting ready to go out on strike. Why? Everybody's trying to try to better their working condition and be able to feed their families and secure for themselves that they will have something when they have to retire. Because if you're in healthcare, you know your working years are numbered because of the carpal tunnels and because of the conditions in which you work in the hospitals and in the homes and the like. So you have to look ahead. You can't be spending your money on Big Macs and Happy Meals. You got to look ahead because, like I said, your health is going to change, and that's a given. It's not a prophecy or speculation. Your health is going to change, and it won't change for the better either going forward. So, and then the system knows that. It knows that they can't work you like they work a slave, and you're going to always work at that same level with intensity and the strength. It changes. The old slavery, you can trace that back to just slavery here in the United States. Dr. George Groot reports that the skeletons of some people who were enslaved, the muscles had actually pulled away from the bone because of their exertion in trying to lift or pull or do something, wherever it was. And so you just can't do that every day. You only do that one time. You pull the bone from the muscle one time. You're not going to pull that bone, muscle from that bone if you pull it from the bone on Monday, you're not going to pull it from the bone on Tuesday. And believe me, the pain is going to be excruciating. And so it is, and you get injured. You call that you get industrial accidents. Industrial accidents are part of the job of labor in America and all over the world. You get repetitive motion injuries. You're swinging a machete out there in the cane fields. That swing is going to cost you as the years go by. I'm kind of drifting around here, but I want to get to the crux of what I am concerned about today, which is the auto workers and the working man, the working person, laboring person, because labor, our labor, and of course the black woman's labor, let me put it that way, has always been given short shrift and taken for granted. The black woman has always had to work, whereas the white woman, who was the queen of the house, did not have to work. She could just tell her maid or her slave in later years what to do. And so there's always been a dichotomy between the white working woman and the black working woman. That's not, it's unavoidable, it's apparent, it's obvious, it's just there in your face. You have to acknowledge it. And unfortunately, we don't give the black woman the credit that she is due for the job that she has had to do and fulfill. Because if there's one woman whose work was never done, it was the black woman. The white woman could be seen in taking leisure on the beach and all of these other places, but the black woman was coming out there with a towel, passing them out and all these type of things. And so the poor among the black people have always gotten short shrift and have always had to work or be overworked, and that needs to be acknowledged. That's another debt that the country owes. Yes, it owes reparations for slavery between male and female, and it owes a debt to the black woman for her sacrifices, because in this culture, this American culture, the black woman has always been taken for granted and hardly recognized, or poorly recognized, and not given her credit or her due for the things that she has accomplished in spite of the obstacles that she has had to overcome. Because she had to overcome racism, and then she had to overcome sexism, and all of that. Racism on the job, sexism at home, sexism in the church. As a matter of fact, the late Dr. James Cone was lamenting in his book that I have at the house. You know, Dr. James Cone wrote the Black Theology, Black Liberation Theology book, first one ever written, that talked about the black man as black in the Bible, or talked about the people in the Bible as black, and referenced Jesus as black. I said Christianity was a black gospel, because we did more with Christianity in our way of conceiving of God than our European and American brothers did with their conception of who Jesus was, who Christ was. We took seriously the old ideas, the commandment that thou shalt have no other God, neither shalt thou make unto thee any graven image or any likeness. And we took that seriously. And we didn't make an image of God in America. We never made an image of it. But the Bible sellers and those that would sell stained glass windows, they made him a European. So Da Vinci and Michelangelo and all of that ilk, you have the European presentation of what the image of God looks like. And it has been, and it is problematic as we go forward. I remember one day some black Muslims came by a church that I happened to be visiting over on 78th and Broadway, and they were going on and on about how we got a white Jesus in the window. I said, man, my church is so poor, we can't even afford a window, let alone a white Jesus in the window. So go miss me with all of that. But we seem to have done all right. We know God wasn't white, and so, but we made allowances. But our white brothers and sisters don't view it that way. They look askance when they see God portrayed as he truly is, black. And when they see Jesus as black, I remember a comical incident where some fellow back south went down to watch his children in the Easter parade, and just so happened in the school where his children were attending, the character of Jesus was being portrayed by a little black boy. He pulled his kids out and said, "No, we're not going to have no black Jesus. You're not going to participate." So things like that reflect the value that we place upon a person, place, or thing. And of course, in religion, like I said, we black folks, we know Jesus wasn't white or European, and but we made allowances. But our white brothers and sisters do not make any allowances for us painting Jesus or portraying Jesus as a black man. But now let me get to the pertinent issue before me, which is as we said, the United Auto Workers are on strike, and they have listed several complaints, grievances, taken from their president, Shawn Fain. He says the first class has taken everything from everyone else for 40 years. It's hell living paycheck to paycheck. Somebody ought to say amen to that. And it is hell choosing between medicine and the rent. Amen again. And it is hell working 7 days a week for 12 hours for 4 months on end, and still not knowing when you're going to get a break. And it's hell knowing that your plant can close down and your family will be spread across the country. In other words, the fear of uncertainty of dislocation. All right, it's hell scraping to get by. It is hell being made to work during a pandemic and knowing if you might get sick and not knowing if you might get sick and die. All right, so that's Mr. Shawn Fain, who's the president of the United Auto Workers, and there are United Auto Workers organization is 88 years old. Of course, they need to put some addendums in there because early in the history of labor, they didn't accept and would not admit colored people, Negroes at that time, to become members of the labor organization. They shunned them. And going on, among their grievances, one of the grievances of the United Auto Workers, they're asking for 36% over 4 years increase in their salary. And what they're saying is that the auto companies are lying when they say they can't afford it, because the head of Ford made $21 million. Head of Ford made $21 million. $21 million. The auto workers make $336 a day on average, $28 an hour, and they're asking for a 36% increase over 4 years. All right, and who is that they're striking? They're striking against Ford, General Motors, and a company called Stellantis, who owns Chrysler. I don't know when that happened, but Chrysler is no more Chrysler. It's owned by Stellantis. All right, and the General Motors chief executive officer, her salary is $29 million annually. That's Mary Barra. And so I got the Ford Motor Company man's salary, and we got the General Motors Company woman's salary, but we didn't get the Stellantis because they didn't list their salary for their president, that CEO. But you can tell, look at the numbers, $336 a day. But these other people are making $21 million a year. That one person is getting paid $21 million. And that doesn't count their bonus. Oh, no. And remember, the auto workers have had to bite the bullet and take a haircut, going all the way back to 2008 when they had the crash, economic crash, and these same General Motors and Ford and Chrysler were going hand in hand to the U.S. Congress and asking them to bail them out so that they wouldn't go under. And they got a bailout. But the worker in those factories had to take a haircut. Mind you, they did not ask that Goldman Sachs or Citicorp or Bank of America, none of those companies, to take a haircut. They gave them lavish bailouts, and in the billions. Well, yeah, in the billions. Let's just call it what it is. It's socialism for the rich and capitalism for the rest of us. You remember, those of you that were around during that time, Hank Paulson, who was the muck-de-muck that was over in charge of the bailout, called these guys into the room and made them take billions of dollars from the government on a signature on a napkin, whereas you and I would have to have a 5-page application to get $50,000 or $25,000 or even $1,000. But those people were able to be called into a room and just made to take billions of dollars from the government. Like I said, socialism for the rich and capitalism for the rest of us. And that's where we still are today. So those guys got bailed out, but the labor force, United Auto Workers, was reminding them that they took a haircut back during those years. And so now here we are in 2023, and the fat cats are still saying, well, we ain't making enough money. Well, what do you mean? So the laborers are saying, what do you mean? We still catching the bus, and you got it flying around in a private jet, and those type of things. So hats off to them. I hope they can hold out. And what they're doing is they're 150,000 strong, but they're not all going on strike at one time. The president has told them to stand up and strike. And so the plants in Toledo, Ohio, and Wayne, Michigan, and Wentzville, Missouri are on strike right now. And what that does is relieve the burden on the union fund to pay the workers who are on strike. Because, even though you're on strike, your bill's still going on. Gas, utilities, and it's coming up wintertime, and you need to be laying by for heating oil or whatever, how you heat your house back on that end. But believe me, in Ohio, it gets cold. And it ain't no thing about, are you going to get some heating oil? You better have some heating oil and have that man paid. Especially in Missouri, and don't mention Michigan. You talk about 3 cold states, and so you got to provide. In other words, the upper echelons of the United Auto Workers, from the president on down, have to have the union fund all ready to pay those people when they're out on strike, because the company, Ford or Stellantis or General Motors, are not going to pay those people when they see them out on strike. they don't want to pay them anyway. See, if they can get them all out there on strike, they could starve them, and then they would cut that strike short, because when that house note come due and you ain't got that money, you won't come back with your hat in your hand to General Motors and to General Motors and Ford and Stellantis is that other name I couldn't think of right quick. They own Chrysler and Fiat and whatever other companies that products that they are engaged in. Okay, so now if you like me and you get a month behind on that house note, boy, you treading water now. And remember, the average house note is over $3,000 a month. The things are going up, so you can't afford to get behind and then got to try to play catch up on that second note, and you still owe for that first note plus the penalty and interest that they're charging you. So that's why so the president of United Auto Workers said, well, now we're not all strike at once. We're going to strike at these 3 plants, and we want you to be, supportive of your union. And then if we call you and tell you, say, all right, we're going to want you to strike in the morning, now you come on out, and you got the union will be supporting you for your gas and for your lunch and for all of that. 5 minutes, y'all. And so that is the way that they're attempting to conduct this strike. Remember when the supermarket workers went out on strike. Well, the management was able to break them because they was able to wait them out, because if you're working for a supermarket, you don't have the income of $336 a day, and you certainly don't have the income of $21 million a year. You got kibbles and bits, and you're in your first year, so quite naturally you got to tread water and rob Peter to pay Paul. The phone company said, we're going to cut the phone off if you can't give us a partial payment, and the gas company, you know the routine. And then you got that big old car there, that big old truck, and you got a big old house, you got a big old rent, and you ain't working. Woo! You got to do something. And so the supermarkets at that time, we were Ralph's. Well, the big dog was Ralph's, because they had bought out everybody, Kroger and everybody. So they were able to wait out the people because they had deeper pockets, and the people out there with them picket signs, that's all they had was them picket signs. And so the management in the supermarket was able to wait them out because they knew they were going to have, those people were going to have to come back and settle, because they need to get back to work and get a paycheck and stave the wolf off at the door. And so the auto workers are trying not to make that mistake. They're doing what they call selective strike. Well, the point of the supermarket strike, I don't know if many of you remember, that was out here in California. If you went on strike at Ralph's, then they put you out at Food for Less. So all y'all get out of here. And so the management was able to control the strike, its extent, its depth, and everything. Whereas the auto workers have a better configuration. I put it at this point, a better opportunity. So that's why there's called the stand-up and strike, but selectively all across the country. And if they can get the people in Mexico and the people in Brazil to come on in with them, then they can have a huge impact. All right, now, in addition to that strike, the SAG-AFTRA people actors and actresses are still on strike, and the Writers Guild of America is still on strike, and they're striking to be able to tell the management that you can't take AI and take our scripts and feed them to this artificial intelligence, and then that artificial intelligence would take our jobs. So the creativity that we used to bring to the table won't be able to be done. Anyway, I close by telling you, as I always tell you, if you're working on a job and they don't want to pay you, take my advice and don't work for them. God love you. I love you too. All right, Doc, we out here.